Hey, what's going on, party people? It's Leona Carter, and I'm excited that we have another phenomenal guest that's coming down to the stage. Her name is Nikki, and I'm going to let her introduce herself to you. But be sure that you are subscribing to the YouTube channel, to the podcast, so you can stay updated about all the things that are happening with She Builds Intimacy with Her Husband podcast. So, Nikki, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Leona. I'm really, really happy to be here. Thank you.
Absolutely. So let us know, who are you? I know you're also known as the therapist coach. So that's so interesting, especially in these times. So let us know who you are and who you actually serve.
Okay, so my name is Nikki Collinson-Phenix, aka the therapist coach, and I have two hats. So firstly, I have been a therapist. I'm a chiropractor, a human chiropractor and veterinary chiropractor and various talking therapies for over 20 years. And then realizing a need for people to be more educated on the business side of therapy. 2-3 years ago now, I launched Nikki Collinson, the therapist coach, and my business, The Profitable Couch, which helps people, therapists, amazing therapists around the world, navigate all the complicated stuff about how to turn that amazing qualification into a successful business.
Awesome. The Profitable Couch. Yes.
Listen, that's where the money is made, Leona. You know, it doesn't matter whether you're talking or whether you're hands-on, somewhere involved in there is a treatment couch. So whilst it's all about helping people and doing, really making an impact in the world, ultimately we need to earn income. So it's the Profitable Couch.
I love it because anytime you think of a therapist, you say, here, sit on my couch. Tell me about your childhood,
Exactly. You got to sit on the couch, lie on the couch, whatever happens, there's a couch.
Awesome. I absolutely love it. And so you said you got into really helping, being the therapist coach because you saw the need. Like, what did that look like? What were you seeing that kind of stirred that creativity in you, that there was a need?
Well, there was two things really. Firstly was, it kind of happened at the same time, around the similar time. So firstly, I started having an aggravation of previous injuries of my own, mainly to do with my own back, that was starting to become more and more involved in my life and my ability to do my job as well as I wanted to do. So I was starting to think about, am I starting to get to the shelf life of my own hands-on practice? So that was the first one. And then ironically, and like maybe coincidentally, maybe the universe just sent it to me, I don't know, but I started talking with therapists that worked in my clinic, that worked in other practices, and I started just connecting with them. And a lot of them were saying, like, I'm really struggling to build up my business. I really am passionate about what I'm doing. I love what I'm doing, but I think I'm going to have to go back into employment. I think I'm going to have to go and get another job. And I found myself just naturally, 20 plus years of experience, naturally just saying, no, we're not going to do that. You've got a mission in the world and we need to make this happen. Why don't you try this, this, and this? And why don't you try this, this, this? And they were going off and doing this stuff, and it was working because obviously I've done it a lot. It was working. They were then going, thank you. Like, I'm now running my business. I know what I'm doing. And I was like, people kept saying to me, like, you're pretty good at this, Nick. Like, you're pretty good at this. Like, you should do this properly. And the more times people kept saying you need to do this properly, the more time my own back started giving me trouble, and I was having to reduce my clinic hours, that it was just like this little thing that just went, this is what you're meant to be doing. This is how you start to transfer 20 plus years of knowledge of running businesses here and other countries. This is what you do now. Your next stage is to help the next generation of therapists run successful businesses confidently.
That is, that's amazing, because I mean, it worked out and lined up so nicely.
Okay.
Like I call him God. I know when there's a God in the works, right?
Yeah.
That's amazing. And so here you are transitioning now. And so you did this just before, a couple of years or so before the pandemic, right?
Yeah. 2019, the beginning of 2019.
Wow. And so now here we are going into the pandemic. Now, how has your business changed? I mean, they're getting the momentum of the business side of it, but what shifts needed to be made in your business as a business therapist and then as a therapist coach?
Well, you know what? For me, I look back on the start of the pandemic as a really pivotal time for me and my business, because right when it started here in the UK, my clinic got shut down. I've been business mentoring then for around a year and a few months. And so my practice shut down, as did all the therapists that were in my community. Like, we all just ground to a halt. And I had like about I remember the day that we closed the clinic, and I had to post it like, guys, the clinic's closing. And I felt really, really down. And my husband was like, are you all right? And I was like, I was quite tearful, because now this shit was real. Do you know what I mean? It was real. And I went, we've just had to close the clinic. And he was like, what do you want me to do? And I went, I need you to I just need 24 hours, right? I just need to go and lie down. I need to binge watch Netflix. I just need to take on the magnitude that this has just got real. I went upstairs. He was like, I'll do the kids. I went upstairs, I lay down, and I lay there for a bit, and I wallowed in my pity pit for a few hours. And then I went, right, Nick, there's 1,500 therapists as part of the Profitable Couch that are looking to you now. They're thinking, what do I do? Nikki, what do I do? And I went, you need to get up and you need to go, what can we do, guys? Not what can't we do? And then I just literally came downstairs and I was like, right. And I went straight live into the group. Right, guys, this is what we're going to do. And it was amazing, because so many people were thinking, metaphorically, my business is closed. I could see them posting, my business is closed, my business is closed. And then I started saying to them, do you know what? Our businesses are not closed. The only thing that has closed is the door to that treatment room. Your business is still open. Your people still need you. What you need to do is let's start getting creative and find ways that you can still serve your people, just in a different way. But your business is open.
Man, that is amazing. That is amazing, because listen, it's that aha moment that, it's greater, there's greater to do. There's more in me than the circumstances around me,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Massively. And I mean, like, as we were going through it, your patients and your clients, like, they're feeling it. We know that people's mental health has taken a battering. We know that mental health, how you feel emotionally, can affect you physically. So we know that people's physical health has taken a battering. It meant more now than ever that therapists had to step up and show up, not step away. And the ones now, ironically, that a year later, the ones that are now succeeding the most as we start to re-enter the world are the ones that stepped up. The ones that stepped away are the ones that are going, okay, maybe my business is a little unstable now. But the ones that actually stepped up are the ones going, I'm good. I think I survived. And that's fantastic.
Wow, that is amazing, because it's so needed. Like, all of our businesses had to shift. It's about the power of the pivot. Like, I'm telling you.
The pivot. I mean, I know it's been a word that has been used but there is no other way to describe it. Like, you literally had to pivot. Like,
yeah.
And some of these people, well, many of the people that I work with, they'd only ever done face-to-face in a treatment room. And all of a sudden, I'm sitting there talking to them about, you're going to need to get online. You're going to need to start creating online stuff. And, so many of them stepped outside of their comfort zone and stepped up, even though they were utterly terrified, because their passion to do their good in the world and to serve their people and help them was so strong. And I saw, as a business mentor, I saw people that I work with transform. and that their businesses now are actually 100% more stable now as a result of the pandemic than it was 12 months ago. Because, you know, if that's not a wake-up call to an unstable business model, hey, I have to work one-to-one in a treatment room, and when I can't do that, my income stops. Hello, wake-up call, your business model's not that great.
Right. Oh man, this is so good, because you're talking in the therapist world, but it's so applicable to so many, right? So many. And then I hear how you sounds like you have a phenomenal, supportive husband alongside you in this journey.
Listen, I'm not gonna lie, I've kissed a few frogs to find him. Like, I'm not saying I've had him from the outset. There were a few frogs along the way, but now I've found the good one, mate. I am supremely grateful to the universe, and I am keeping hold of this one.
You are blessed for sure. So
very much.
So that you gave a prime example as an entrepreneur. How do you, communicate how do you communicate to your husband the support that you need? I mean, you gave an example. Just give me 24 hours. Just let me be for 24 hours. And that's amazing that he's like, okay, I got the kids, and so how do you, as a world changer, really communicate? What are some other strategies you use to really communicate to your husband the support that you need in your business?
Well, I'm a great believer that a successful marriage or relationship or whatever is when each of you gets to fulfill your dreams and aspirations. So you have your dreams and aspirations, they have their dreams and aspirations, and you have your joint dreams and aspirations. And you need to make sure that each one of those is being met. So what we've always done is we kind of sit down regularly, because he is self-employed, he has his own business, and we sit down regularly, and it's like, right, whose need is greater right now? Who's got serious stuff going on right now? Who's got a launch going on now? Who's got a load of work going on? And we regularly communicate. That's what it is. We sit there with the diary. Who needs to be doing the kids right now? Who needs to, be putting the kids to bed? Who needs to be doing this? Who needs to be done that? Like, so when I've got a launch on, for example, of something, and he knows, or even like the summit I was talking to you about the other day, like I was locked in this attic for 12 hours 2 days, but he knew that was scheduled in the diary. He knew that was his time. He had to take over the family stuff because Nick was doing this stuff. And then other times he'll say to me, like, Nick, I've got some really important stuff going on here, I'm going to need you to step up. And so we get the diaries together, Leona. We get the diaries together and we communicate, because it's important. He knows it's important for me to meet the things I want to do, and I know it's important for him. That's how we both feel fulfilled. That's how you try and keep the balance.
I absolutely love that. I think you call it now. You're in the UK?
Yeah.
Okay, so you call it a diary, but I think in here we talk about the calendar or the planner. Yeah. I love it. That's like, it's like, wait, first come, first serve. Like who's is in the calendar. That's amazing, because and when people talk about balance, they're trying to be equal. Like, okay, we're right here. We got it's not a balance where people are trying to be equal, but that's not really the reality of what balance looks like. It's like, this time I need support, and this is how I need support. Okay. And it's, it's literally unbalanced, but that's what works right now. Yeah. And then next time it shifts, right? And so this is how we keep it. It's not like, okay, you get 50-50, right? It's not that kind of balance. And you kind of describe that perfectly. That's amazing. And so you have this business, now you have kids, all the things. Well, how do you prioritize intimacy? I mean, just sitting down, watching TV together, like uninterrupted he and me time. How do you prioritize that?
Well, we have taught the kids, because this was something that, a couple of years ago, we realized that we hadn't prioritized. We really hadn't. And obviously over lockdown and stuff like that, it's harder to go anywhere. So we started a few months ago, we started educating the kids that Friday night was date night. Now, this is not going out date night because there's nowhere to go, but this is like, kids, you don't mess around at bedtime. It's date night. So we know now that every Friday is our time, because the other days we do have the after school clubs, we have the evening stuff, the weekends a bit mental with the kids. Friday night every single week is our night.
Listen, ding 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 ding,
Yes.
girl.
It don't matter. We get a takeaway, a takeout is delivered, we get the wine, we get a movie, whatever, but that is our time. Undisturbed, our time. And the kids know, like, just don't leave. And then we tease the kids as well. Like, my husband's he's like going, it's Friday night, and my daughter, who's 9, she's like, oh God, and she's like, yeah, me and mom are going to be snogging all night. And she's just like, oh my God, you two are so embarrassing, because we're really tactile. I want my kids to see tactile parents, and so he'll sit there like leading up to Friday night going, mommy and daddy got date night, and they know about it. It's fun, but they know that that's mom and dad's time.
That's amazing, because when we've lost that intentionality in our connecting time, it gets lost. Like you're always getting ready to, and then guess what? You never get to it. It doesn't happen if it's not in the planner schedule, and so that's amazing, because of course, as I empower women to build intimacy with their husband through the power of dating again, just recalibrating your marriage to include regular date night, it opens up the door for better communication. It opens up the door for so many things, because you regularly connect together. And it's just, and it gets busy. Listen, we've been married for 25 years, 6 children, 1 grandson. Don't tell me life ain't busy.
It's mental.
I get it. And so because of the demand on our lives as parents, because of 6 kids, we have to be even more intentional about that. So I love it. Every time I hear that, I'm like, woo!
Well, it's even little things like, when you say goodbye, like whoever's going off and taking the kids to school and stuff like that, it's about like, give me a snog before you go out the door. Like, it takes seconds. Don't just like shout to me from the door, bye. Give me a full-on peccaroonie. I want to have a big snog with my husband. I love my husband before he goes out the door. My kids are always just like, oh, you two are just gross, because they're at that age where every little thing that mom and dad does is really gross. But it's just like, if I'm making the dinner and he's like washing up, like if I'm waiting for something, I'll give him a hug. He'll give me a hug. These things, when you actually put it into perspective, these little bits of intimacy, they take seconds, but they mean the world. Like if I'm chopping onions up, which is when I'm usually crying my eyes out, chopping onions out, and he'd just come and put his arms around me and give me a kiss. And I'm like that means the world. And yet it takes seconds. Listen, but you have to make the effort to do it,
Absolutely. I always say, some of the things that I, even in master classes, I say, one of the master classes is called, connect in the kitchen before you connect in the bedroom. And those simple things that you're talking about, right? And when you think about connecting in the kitchen, you think about it being open around others and things like that, your kids, right? So it's very appropriate, very, for the setting and things like that. But connecting, every little thing connects. Everything that we do with each other, conversation, connect, we're either building intimacy or tearing it down. Everything we say, every conversation, we're either fostering an intimate, atmosphere, or we're taking away from it, right? So, so important. So I just love this, the therapist coach. I absolutely love that's just so freaking amazing. Congratulations for just really holding that in for such a time as this. The timing couldn't have been even.
Not. Yeah. And with everything, whether it's through my work doing that, or whether it's, at home with the kids, is you lead by example, don't you? I with my work, I lead by example. With my kids, I want my kids to see that it's really normal and wonderful to see their parents being tactile, being affectionate with each other, showing affection, kissing, cuddling. I want my kids to see that. I don't want them to, because they're going to then, hopefully, when it's their time, they're going to want to do that. They're going to say, well, this is how I want my life to be. I see my mum and dad like really comfortably intimate with each other. And I want to have that the same. I don't want to say, well, I never saw my mum and dad hug, touch, kiss. That was always something that was behind closed doors. I don't want that for them.
I know it's such a big difference, right? Because, growing up, I didn't have that. I didn't have
me too.
anyone to look up to. And so I'm the mentor that I longed for.
Yeah. And I had nothing either, with nothing at all. Like my whole family background was incredibly dysfunctional when I was growing up. And I made the decision that I'm the cycle breaker,
Come on.
I'm the cycle breaker. Let's stop this stuff. Let's stop this narrative. The next generation, we do not have to follow the one before. We're going to change the story now, because that's what we've got the power to do, to change our story.
Yes, we are the bloodline breakers. That's how
Let's do it. I love that. Bloodline breakers. That's what I'm doing right now.
Yes. This has been amazing. And so, so how can people, connect with you, Nikki, on two different things, right? If they need a therapist, they can connect with you. But if they are a therapist and they want to connect with you, how can they connect with you?
Well, the first place to come is to go onto Facebook and find the Profitable Couch, which is the community there. It's got just under 2,000 therapists from all around the world. So that's really the main place. Come into the group and come and say hello and come and be supported on your business journey. And you'll get me in there too.
That's amazing. That's the first stop. The first stop is on the couch.
On the couch that makes you the profitable couch.
I love it. That's easy to find. That's easy to remember. So thank you so much, Nikki, for this, wealth of information. And then, just kind of finally, what's one piece of advice that you would want to give to any business owner that still has not made the pivot and it's just like, but I don't know what to do? What is one advice you would share with them to, really get off the couch and make the pivot?
Is really think about what your people, whatever business you're in, think about what your people come to you for the most. What is the number one thing or the top three things that people come to you for the most? And then work out, how can I still deliver that same level of support, but perhaps in a different way? So how can I still keep showing up and being consistent? Because a lot of people retreated with the pandemic. A lot of people retreated back through fear. They buried their head in the sand. Keep showing up and being consistent, because if you don't show up, the reality is the competitor down the road could be the one that is showing up. And I've really learned over this time is that a lot of people relied on loyalty. When it comes to this pandemic, you can't rely on loyalty. If you disappear on your people and somebody else starts showing up, don't be surprised if their allegiance goes to the person who actually stepped up and showed up for them. So, please look at what it is you do the most and find the way to still keep doing that, just in a different way to what you're used to. Get pivoting.
That's what I call a mic drop. I don't have a mic, so I got my lip gloss. Boom.
I'm loving the lip gloss drop.
Lip gloss drop. That's it.
I'm loving it. You've just made a thing now. Hashtag lip gloss drop.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, Nikki. This has been a wealth of information. So good. So make sure you connect with her. Her information will be down in the descriptions on YouTube, and you can, connect with her at the Profitable Couch on Facebook if you're listening to this on the podcast. So again, my name is Leona Carter, and I empower women to build intimacy with their husband through the power of dating again. You can learn more about me at leonacarter.club, and remember to continue building intimacy with your husband. Bye for now.